Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Life of a Business Manager podcast. This is the podcast where we break down the real world skills every business manager needs to succeed. I'm your host, Sina Chan, and today we're diving into another important topic as a business manager, which is talking about something that every single business manager or manager has struggled with at some point in their role, and that is delegation. Being a good delegator is so important to being a successful business manager. The key is to know when to delegate and match up the task with the individual. Now, if you're like me and you have a problem delegating because you have trust issues, but also you're thinking in your mind that the other person cannot do the job as well as you can, I think this is an episode for you because we will show you how to delegate tasks properly and how to gain trust from all of your team members in order to grow their skill sets. So let's get into this episode. Okay, everyone, let's get into segment one of this episode, which is why does delegation matter? So, the reason why we're talking about this in this episode is because as a business manager, you're juggling multiple tasks such as budgets, dealing with operations, and endless deadlines. So, let alone trying to stay mentally sane in this role and be engaged at the same time. Delegation matters because it keeps the projects and the people moving. When you delegate, you improve productivity in your team, you get more done, and you're able to focus on other important parts of your job as a business manager. So here are some reasons to why delegation matter. The first one is freeing up your time. When you free up your time, you can focus on strategic work instead of drowning in monotonous tasks. This is so important as a business manager because when you're juggling multiple requests, getting any type of free time will help you focus on other important tasks such as strategic financial projects or any senior leadership requests that you need to get done as soon as possible. The second reason is to teach and develop your team. Delegation is a chance for employees to learn, grow, and step up. And at the end of it, you might also realize that you need a new team, or there's ones that have potential that maybe need a little bit more education or training. The third reason is you build trust within your team. Trust is so important when you're trying to grow your team. And the more that you delegate a task and you get good results from the task, and you see that your team is able to complete it on time and do exactly what you used to do for that task, you build a trust where now you feel comfortable delegating tasks and more tasks in the future. This takes away all of the monotonous tasks from you, and you're able to focus on other important projects that are coming your way. So, to close out this segment, the tricky part is to be able to balance delegation as well. As much as it matters to delegate, you want to have a balance with your team. So, you want to delegate enough, but not too much where you've lost sight of your actual role. Okay, everyone, let's talk about segment two, which is how to pick the right task to delegate. Now, when it comes to delegation, knowing what tasks to start with will help with the smooth transition on delegating work. Remember, not every single task should be delegated. The key is to know which ones to hand off. Here are some tips on where to start. The first one is delegate tasks that are routine or repeatable. The reason you want to review the tasks that are routine or repeatable is because practice makes perfect. Once you train a team member on the routine of the task, you're hoping that that person can get the task eventually done. Delegating repetitive tasks will help free up time for you as a business manager. For example, for me, every 2 weeks, I input some data into a biweekly reporting tool. It starts with an Excel document from the department. Every 2 weeks, I do a simple math and then I calculate the data and input it into this tool. As a business manager, I could train someone else to take over this task. On a level of difficulty, this is like a level 1. Another example is scheduling. If there are weekly, monthly, or quarterly meetings, delegate that task to someone else on your team. The next delegation tip is to use delegation to grow your team's skill set. For example, if you have someone that is in a junior position, you could give them the opportunity to lead presentations or project to help them grow their skill set. The last tip is to never delegate your core responsibilities. You as a business manager have to do your standard work such as setting, managing annual operating and capital budgets, handling problems such as sensitive HR issues, or making strategic financial decisions. The reason why it's important to not delegate your core responsibilities is because these are mission critical tasks, and a lot of the decision making requires senior leadership. Okay, let's close out this segment. It's best to delegate tasks that will not put your job in jeopardy. You're trying to free up your time for yourself to focus on mission critical work. So just keep that in mind. Here's one last tip for you. If your task is mission critical and requires senior leadership, you need to keep that task. If it can build capacity in your team, then just delegate the task. Okay, everyone, on to the next segment 3, which is to set clear expectations when delegating tasks. As a business manager, it's easy to slip into micromanaging because you didn't set the clear expectations up front. So here's what you can do to set clear expectations. I call them the 3 W's, which are what, why, and when. The what is always be specific about the deliverable of the task. For example, you need to ask them specifically. For example, please create a draft of next month's budget forecast using last quarter's data that I've sent you in this email. The next W is the why. Before delegating the task, make sure to explain to them why it matters. I've noticed from my own experience that people work harder when they understand the impact of the task. The last W is the when. Make sure to set deadlines early so there's no confusion. Typically, I will make the deadline a day or two prior to the actual due date because it's best to review and make sure it's 100% ready for submission. And then the last tip, to explain to your team member that's taking over this task if they have an opportunity to take this task and make it their own. Sometimes I've noticed that if you open up the door for them to take over this task and add their own spin to it, they work a little bit harder. That's just from my experience. Okay, everyone, let's talk about the last segment 4, which is to support, reflect, and analyze lessons learned. So this is what happens after the delegation. Now it's time to check in and make sure the task delegation worked. Here's what to do to make sure your decision to delegate worked for you. Number 1, set check-in points instead of constant micromanaging. One thing to note is to make sure you set dates on when to review the task with that team member in order to assure that the task has been completed. This is the part where you review the progress with the team member, agree on the milestones, the deadlines, and next steps. Number 2, ask questions instead of giving step-by-step instructions. This will help you assess the situation to see what the team member did is working or not working. For example, you can ask them, how are you planning to approach this task? Number 3 is to trust but verify with the team member. Do not micromanage the task given. Let them do the work, but make sure accountability is set clearly. The thing is, at the end of the day, you as a business manager is still responsible for the outcome of that task. So balance your trust level with the team member and don't micromanage. One last tip is to always encourage problem solving with your team members. The reason why you want to do this is you want to make sure that they can function without you. This helps them with independence, gives them confidence, and helps them complete the task. To close out this segment, let's review the lessons learned. And that's always important. Remember that delegation isn't just about freeing up the time off of your plate. It's about check and balance and seeing what works and what doesn't. After the task is done, take time to reflect. You can ask these 3 questions. What went well? Where did they need more support? What could be improved next time? And most importantly, recognize their effort. I always recommend a quick thank you email or a shout out in a team meeting because I feel like that goes a long way with team members. And I think everyone can appreciate recognition when it's given. So here's the takeaway to wrap up this episode. If you want to have effective delegation, that means choosing the right task, setting clear expectations, supporting and recognizing results. And when you do this well, you free up your own time and give your team the confidence and ownership they need to thrive. Thanks again for tuning into Life of a Business Manager podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a colleague who might need some assistance with delegation. And if you have any questions about the role, suggestions for future topics, or any stories of your own as a business manager, feel free to contact me in the email in the show notes below. As always, thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, bye everyone. Hi everyone. Just a reminder, the content provided in our podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as professional advice. Listeners are encouraged to consult with appropriate professionals before making any business decisions based on the information provided in this podcast. We do not endorse any products or services mentioned unless stated in any of our episodes. Thank you for listening.